Hello there and welcome to a bit of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I first of all just want to introduce you to this new thing that I'm doing. Basically a bit of is essentially Let's Plays, except without the obligation of having to complete the game. And it allows me to play games that I've wanted to talk about and gives me a chance to do content idly when I'm not really in the mood to do any reviews or I'm just unable to get inspiration and things like that. So today we're looking at Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines with the unofficial patch, which is still being supported, I think, 14 years after the initial release. So I have to say kudos to the devs, that really is commitment. Now I must admit that it is the want of Lady ADHD that I do not finish the game, so I probably will not end up completing it, and it kind of goes against my review policy because I want to complete games before I review them and things like that, and get review notes. Also as well, the unofficial patch makes the game significantly better, and I don't want to review the patch, I want to review the game itself, but that gives a very poor impression of the game, so I might as well show you it with the plus content, so there's additional content that I've chosen to enable. So we're going to have a look into it now. So, I'm not really sure what kind of vampire clan I want to play yet, not really sure what gender, even sexuality or history I'm going with, but we're going to have a look at the answers and questions, and then we'll see where we go from there. So I don't know how long this first part's going to be, maybe about an hour, we'll have to see. I'm going to try and get past the tutorial, and then we'll get into the game in the second part. I'll have to see. Okay, so a new game starts with creating a new character. Would you like to answer a series of questions? Well, that's what we're doing now, aren't we? About the type of vampire you'd like to play, and allow the game to create your character. Go directly to the character sheet and create your character's clan, attributes and abilities yourself. So I'm going to do 2 later on, but we'll see, unless I'm perfectly satisfied with the character we get here. So, would you like to be a character? I'm going to go for a female for a change. You're in a convenience store looking through the beer freezer when all of a sudden a man walks in and pulls a gun on the cashier. Do you sneak up behind him, disarm him, and proceed to beat him senseless? Quietly make your way to the bathroom and lock yourself in. So I'm guessing the first one has to do with sneak and brawl skill, and the second one has to do with sneak and lockpick. I must admit I do like my brawl skill in Vampire, so I'm going to go for this one. You met someone at a club and they took you back to their place. Things start getting interesting when all of a sudden you hear someone at your front door. Their spouse. Oh dear. Do you head to the kitchen, let them see you, pretend you're a distant cousin, and that you were nice enough to let them stay on your couch? Gather up your clothes, hide behind the door, and slip out of the apartment as quietly as possible. Calmly explain that you had no idea that they were married and that you intend to leave and never come back, keeping your finger on the speed dial in case you need the police. So I guess the first one's stealth, the second one is stealth again, the third one is persuasion. I do like my sneak, but I also like my persuasion. I'm going to go for 3. You were mugged last night. It wasn't life-threatening, but you want to take some measures to make sure that it'll never happens again. You aren't defenseless. Do you sign up for a martial arts class? Next time they try it, you'll break the spine. Start carrying a knife and conceal it in your belt. The next person who tries it, breathe through a hole in the neck. 3, buy a gun. Next one will sidewalk meet. So the first one's brawl, the second one is melee, the third one's firearms. I'm going to go for brawl, so sign up for a martial arts class. While in a club, you spot your ex-roommate who skipped out after taking your stuff and leaving you with a stack of bills. He looks dead drunk. Do you grab him by the head and repeatedly bash his face into the bar? Call the cops. See you in court, buddy. I think I'll go with the first one. It's the immediate answer, and I don't know if the court would succeed. So you are going to see me probably having this kind of explain my dialogue choices and things like that, just so you can get an understanding of my roleplay style. You're in an all-night pawn shop, feeling the need for some protection but very long cash. You can only afford to purchase one item. Is it a book entitled Kickboxing and 10 Easy Lessons, a well-worn baseball bat, a cheap Saturday night special? I'm guessing the Saturday night special is a gun. That was a Lynyrd Skynyrd song, wasn't it? I can't remember. Kickboxing again is the brawl skill. Okay, so the world's cruel and unforgiving place, but you've gone by so far. Why? Someone gets in my way, I kick their arse. That's why. Not sounding like that, it doesn't. I live alone, I don't need others, just me, my dog, and to hell with the rest. I'm gonna... Whichever one it was. I don't know which one I pressed then, I just tap my fingers, hope for the best. You've been embraced by the Brujah clan. Oh, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Either that or Malkavian, or Malkavian. I prefer to say Malkavian, even though the Ricky says Malkavian, I believe. Okay, so called by some a clan of violent brutes and mindless street thugs, the Brujah, I think it's Brouhaha, Brujah. I think it's Brouhaha. The Brouhaha have been known to tangle. I can't speak coherently, but are a proud clan who fight for freedom in life and death and put their combat abilities to use where they're necessary. Excellent. Okay. Abilities and attributes have now been determined and entered into the character sheet, which you will see next. Let's have a look. So, this is all the help text. Not that I really need all this. I kind of know what's going on, but if you guys want to have a look at it, please be my guest. I am, to be honest, mostly fine with those stats, however, except for firearms. I mean, unless this is just an example, I don't know. So, skills and knowledges. Inevitable warriors, so your strongest attribute is you can have 2 points to spend. You also have 1 point to spend in mental and no points in social. Shit. Sorry, but I like my persuasion. I love persuasion skill, and okay, that's fine. It's also got my old character name then, John Ferratu. Okay, that's what I was playing in Nosferatu. You'll get to know the different clans. Okay, so fates. The action. So basically, that's what your skills determine. So when you hover over these, the things on the left will be highlighted, and the things on the when you hover over the things on the left, the things on the right will be highlighted. So then you know what you're looking at there. So it sort of requires a combination of the two. Okay, so this is your humanity. 7 is norm. 10 is saint. Oh, I didn't know 7 was a norm. Okay, saintly, and the lower to you. Okay, so as it says here, vampire. When you go into frenzy, so when you lose so your humanity at the top there determines how close you are to frenzying. When you frenzy, you lose control of your character temporarily, and they will try and attack and feed on other people to restore their blood. However, you have a chance of violating the Masquerade and also losing your humanity, which is going to probably come up next. Yes, the Masquerade. So the Masquerade is essentially the monitor telling you how close you are to losing the game. So those masks will have a cross across them. I think it's a cross of blood, and basically it shows that shows you how close humans are to discovering vampires are in the world. So one Masquerade violation is one person discovering vampires. You'll attract, you'll get scorn from other vampires. But when 2 people discover vampires and starting to get out into the internet, that's when the vampire hunters come along and try to kill you. Basically, it's not very pleasant, and I think even the other vampires will start to go after you then. But yeah, they will go out of their way to protect the Masquerade. So it'll all be explained much better later on, I'm sure. Auto level, not interested in that. Boop. Okay, so let's have a look at my character very quickly. I want to change his name. I think we'll call him Fantastic. So, stamina, don't really need. I would like higher dexterity, because I do like my. Yes, I want lockpicking and I want a good lockpicking and sneak skill. Those are my kind of traits. I try to avoid combat as much as possible, which I know is against my clan, but I really would like to. I really would like to go for a persuasive character where I can. Now, as far as I'm aware, there's no limits on how high I can raise my persuasion. Unlike the Nosferatu, where you can have 0 appearance, so I don't even get to put that 1 point into it. There was another clan as well. I think it was the Tremere, who can't have their physical traits raised above 4. Unless it's... I think it actually includes these here. Or is it just these? These can't go above 4. Because they're more of a magic clan of sorts. They use more disciplines. These are your disciplines. These are your vampire magics, basically. Potence gives me superhuman strength. Presence allows me to intimidate enemies. It also gives me additional dialogue choices. So it reduces their strength and wits and perception, so they're less likely to hit and do damage with firearms, with melee abilities, which is always nice. And celerity here as well. I don't really use this one very much. I don't like this one very much, but it's vampire speed, so that's quite fun. I'm generally happy with the talents I've got here. I want to take away firearms. I don't like firearms. Don't need melee. I prefer to brawl myself. Oh, but I need 2 skills here, so I'll go for security and stealth. I know I'm probably pissing off a lot of Brouhaha players in the pen and paper RPG, but I really do like. I know what kind of character I want with the Brujah. So, Knowledges. I mean, I'm going to cancel this and show you the different clans because there's histories as well that we can go into, and all that stuff is rather interesting. And you get to see as well the different character models that you get. So that's the kind of character I'm looking at anyway. If I had to assign the points, however, I get a blank character sheet later on when we go back to. Oh right, okay, it's here. Excellent. So all right, so we don't have to go back all the way to the menu. That's great. So here's the different clans. So we've got the Brouhaha here, who are idealists and rebels. So they are the kind of ones who would join the Anarchs. I don't think I'll be doing that because I did that in my previous playthrough with the Nosferatu and the Toreador. Sorry, no, as the Nosferatu. But we shall see. So we've got the Gangrel here. They try to be. They do try to be quite alone. They try to go sort of stay away from all the vampires, but it's sort of become more hippy dippy in vampire culture now. It's sort of seen like as edgy to do that, and they're not really taken that seriously, but they are still considered quite good fighters. They get a bonus to 5 strength, stamina, and wits when they frenzy, but I don't like losing control of my character. But they also lose. They also have more chance of frenzying, hence the -1 on all frenzy checks. So a frenzy check is to determine if you frenzy or not. So if you have like plus on any plus digit on any frenzy checks, you have a greater chance of defending against the frenzy. Malkavians. These guys are mad, they're insane, and I would love to play one of these. I'll probably do a bit of Vampire the Masquerade, because I'd love to play a Malkavian, because their dialogue options are massively different. Pretty much all the dialogue in the game is rewritten, and their responses you might not know, so I need a bit more experience with the game, but this will help me with that, because you don't know what they're going to say. And you might think that the dialogue option is perfectly fine, that you think you've got the right idea of what they're saying, but then it turns out to be completely false. That's going to be a bit of a problem. What about the male model? I really don't like the male model. Mostly the hairstyle, just not my kind of thing. What else have we got here? Nosferatu as well. I actually prefer the bloke here. I think he looks badass. I love the face as well, but their clothes are very minimal as well. That they sort of wear that style of leather bondage gear, which is cool and all, but not great. So these guys can't have they can't have a seduction of any higher than 0 for obvious reasons, and they have to hide from people. Now, I originally thought that their entire campaign would take place in the sewers, but apparently it doesn't. You can walk the streets, but if people see you, they will. Like you've got a few seconds to move out of the way, otherwise you violate the Masquerade, and as you can see, you only get 5 chances to do so, and the game gets harder as you do. Speaking of difficulty, I'm probably going to be save scumming the hell out of this game, because that's the kind of person I am. So if that pisses you off, I am terribly sorry, but I am a cheater, I am a sore loser, and I play to win, essentially. Toreadors are my favourite kind of character, for the obvious reasons of that they have a high seduction skill, persuasion, they appreciate the arts. They love, they are most in touch with humans, so their humanity raises and losses are doubled. So instead of getting 1 humanity for doing an action, they get 2. But if they lose humanity, let's say they lose 3 humanity for doing something, they lose 6 instead. So that's kind of cool. They also have good dress sense as well, in my opinion. That's just super snazzy as all hell. I've only played the male, though, and I have had to wonder, how the hell do people not know that this guy's a vampire? Really, because he looks... That looks sinister to me. When I was writing my original review, I had to wonder how the hell they managed. Oh, I see, this is the Tremere. I thought this was like the Brujah, the character model, because I love this character model. Looks fantastic. These guys are the sorcerers and diablerists who are looked upon with distrust and even disdain by other vampires, and they are known to sort of, in some cases, even feed on other vampires and drain them and take their power. and to improve their generation. So the lower your generation, the closer you are to Cain, the supposed father of all vampires. I think it's still a myth in this game, but I'm not sure if it's actually been confirmed in the pen and paper RPG if Cain really was real. Cain being the son of one of the sons of Adam and Eve, who killed his brother Abel. This will all be explained very later on. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version later on. So, these are the Tremere, looking quite cool. Not sure about the glasses, but fine. And then the Ventru, with possibly the greatest clothing ever. Oh yeah, fantastic, love it. These guys are the ones. These are the politicians. These are the bosses of the corporations. These are the ones that rise to they want absolute power, and they don't care if it corrupts absolutely. So I'm going to go with Brujah again because I'm quite happy with that choice before. Yeah, quite happy with that. What about male or female? I think I'm going. Yeah, still going with the lass. Never played a lass in Vampire the Masquerade before. Different histories as well. I think this is with the pre-patch. Now I'm not sure. Now I must admit I played a gay Nosferatu before, and it didn't really have any effect on the game as far as I was aware. Probably because I was a Nosferatu, and no one's going to find a Nosferatu attractive regardless of their sexuality. I'm not sure I'm going to go with that one again though. I may do with the Malkavian, but once again that might just completely dilute it. So yeah, true Brouhaha. Sort the priority order of your mental, physical, social attributes. So you get this little bit of flavor text here. I'm not sure if it affects dialogue. One of my favorite ones was, I think, let's just go back to Toreador. Do they have? No. What about Ventru? I bet they've got. Okay, one of these was a Nosferatu. Oh, come on, where is it? Video game publisher was one of the histories. I'm going to try and find it. I am determined to find this now. Toreador? No. Carvian? Completely batshit. Sorry, I've got to check this. The effects of your dementation are greater and last longer. It's difficult to wrap your wriggling brain around the concept of invisibility, however, and you must spend more experience to raise your skill in obfuscate. So that's one of the disciplines that I really like. It's invisibility, essentially, and it gets better and better and better as time goes on. Okay, that's just swapping things around. For your website model. Hey, it beats Taco Hell. Okay, right. Fixer. Okay, right, let's go down to it. And what's an anti-paladin? A bully in life, a tyrant in death. You were born into undeath with savage combat prowess and an inclination to use it, and when you do, it's a terrible sight to behold. It costs you fewer experience points to raise presence, and you start with a point in melee. However, it costs you more to raise celerity and humanity. However, I'm going to go with no history, just to keep things basic. I think when I do my Malkavian playthrough, I think I'll go balls to the wall crazy with it though. That ought to be a bit of fun. So, yeah, right. So now, in fact, let's change the name. I've got one better. How about Brujon? Brujon. I don't know, Brujon. Whatever. It works as far as I'm concerned. So I've got 2 points to spend in physical. So I'm going to spend them on strength. And do I want dexterity? Yes, I do. I want dexterity. I can go for stamina later because that's my defense, which I really, really do like. I like to be able to defend against things. I'm not really a defensive player very much. I prefer offense over defense, but in the case of vampire, I really do want it because it is quite easy for me to die, especially when I have blood heal or anything like that. At least I don't think I do. We'll find out soon enough. Combat defense, hacking, research and intimidates, perception. I'm gonna go for hacking because that's my kind of thing. It's one of those. It's one of those things that grants me access to places, which I really need. So I've got points to spend here. I'm going to go for brawl, intimidation. I like my brawl skill. It makes it easier to feed on people, and it allows me to fight in melee without any weapons. And I love fighting without weapons in this game. So, combat defense, dodge. Yes, I might go for subterfuge for the seduction skill because I haven't really got anything there. No, I'm going to go for dodge because I've got a feeling things might get a bit tough, so we'll have to see. I'm going to go for security and stealth here, and then I'm going to go for... I could go for the computer skill, increase my hacking. That puts me up to level 3 with those, which is quite good. Haggle isn't really a skill that I find very useful. I'm not going to be using the shops enough to justify it. If I play my cards right, I should have plenty of money throughout the campaign anyway. So I'm not sure if it's really worth it for me to do that. Investigation increases the inspection skill, so you can find things hidden in the world, but if you know where to look, you can find them anyway. I think it does spawn some items in the world, though. We'll have to see. And scholarship increases my persuasion skill. I've got a hacking of 2, but I've only got a persuasion of 1, so I want to go for that. And then it increases my research, so I can read skill books. Awesome. Now, do I want to go for potence or presence? I can reduce an enemy's attack, or I can increase my own. Because I'm going to be using both of those skills in combat. I think I'm going to go for potence, because it's super fun. It gives you supernatural vampire strength. And I think that's it. So I think that's our character. I'm perfectly fine with that. We can't spend any points on humanity yet. That's something you have to do later on. The higher your humanity, the higher the cost to increase it. But you can't pay to redeem the Masquerade. Anyway, here we go.
I want to show you something.
No idea why the lube was called belly jelly. But, oh well.
Good evening. My fellow kindred. My apologies for disrupting any business.
Sorry, I'm just texting my dad. I've seen this plenty of times, so I know what happens, so we're alright to skip it. Well, I am anyway.
Here because the laws that bind our society, the laws that are the fabric of our existence, have been broken. As prince, I am within my rights to grant or deny the kindred of this city the privilege of siring. Many of you have come to me seeking permission, and I have endorsed some of these requests. However, the accused that sits before you tonight was not refused permission. Indeed, my permission was never sought at all. They were caught shortly after the embrace of this child. It pains me to announce the sentence, as up to tonight I considered the accused a loyal and upstanding member of our organization. But as some of you may know, the penalty for this transgression is death. Know that I am no more adjudicator than I am a servant to the law that governs us all.
Terribly sorry about that. I'm not showing any interest at all, am I?
That we must adhere to the code that binds our society, lest we endanger all of our blood. Forgive me. Let the penalty commence. Which leads to the fate of the ill-begotten progeny. Without a sire, most children are doomed to walk the earth never knowing their place, their responsibility, and most importantly, the laws they must obey. Therefore, I have decided that this is bullshit! If Mr. Rodriguez would let me finish, I have decided to let this kindred live. They shall be instructed in the ways of our kind and be granted the same rights.
I'm probably going to have to change this in editing,
and causes of this community.
but I've just moved the microphone closer, so hopefully I can pick up my voice a bit better.
Their significance is not lost. Good evening.
So, I don't know why when that guy was decapitated, blood spewed everywhere, because I'm pretty sure vampires don't have a pulse anymore, so the blood can't spew out like it did. Then again, it's a visual effect. I'm thinking way too much about it.
My apologies, but you see, there is a strict code of conduct that all of us must adhere to if we wish to survive. When anyone breaks these laws, they undermine the well-worn fabric of our centuries-old society. Understand my predicament. Allowing you to live makes me directly responsible for your subsequent behavior. So, what I'm offering is not generosity, but the opportunity to transcend the fate woven by your sire. This is your trial. You will be brought to Santa Monica. There, you will meet an agent by the name of Mercurio. He will provide the details of your labor. I've shown you great clemency. Prove it was more than a wasted gesture, fledgling. Don't come back until you do. Good evening.
So finally we've got into the game. I better explain for those in the back rows. What happened there was our character has just been sired after a raunchy night out or in, and we have recently been turned into a vampire. Our sire, the person who turned us into a vampire, has been slain by Prince Sebastian Lacroix and his sheriff, as he calls him. I never really got to know much about the sheriff, unfortunately. Maybe it's because of the path I had chosen throughout my 2 playthroughs. But hopefully we get to see a bit more of him, depending on how this one goes. A stake through the heart does not kill a vampire in this universe. It merely paralyzes them. Although throwing a stake is still a pretty impressive feat, nonetheless. And I don't believe it's expressly stated at what counts as a stake. If it's just a chair leg that's whittled down into such a shape, or if it has to be sanctified in holy water or something like that. No. Anyway, this is Smiling Jack, one of those charismatic characters in the game. Let's hear what he's got to say. And I've just talked over the man. How very rude of me. Right, I'm going to go through the entire tutorial to make up for the lack of gameplay earlier, and we'll end part 1 after that. So, should I go through the entire... Yeah, let's go through it. Explain vampire lore for those who aren't familiar. I don't do champagne or heroin, I'm afraid, so if it were to say it was my new kebab, well, I suppose lamb is kebab, so yeah, alright, yeah, fine. I can understand now, yeah. Provides a context for me. Captain of the wrestling team. I don't know anything about wrestling, but do they have wrestling teams? I don't know. So captains of wrestling, I should say. I don't know.
Forget that comic book crap, kid. It don't work that way. Now go for it. Be sure, though, and this is important, so listen up. Be sure not to drain them dry.
You're going to learn very quickly that I save scum for the pure hell of it. All the goddamn time. I really am in the habit of doing that. So I do apologise if this annoys you. I'm going to save the game very quickly. Save it as Sean. That's my main save. I shouldn't need multiple saves, but what the hell. So, I think he's found his car. Don't know if that's the one he wants, though. So we're going to feed on this poor sucker. No pun intended. I like how my couch just wrapped the legs around him. I must admit, I was not expecting that at all. I don't know if any other character does that, but that's kind of cool. So I now fill my blood bar on the right-hand side.
Yeah. Hell yeah, you're feeling it. I can see it in your eyes. You're a born-again predator. Feeling that blood bubbling inside you, lifting you up. That's it, kid. That's what it's all about right there.
I might play a bit of a sassy character. So.
All right, now you got the blood. You're feeling all
same
kick-ass,
lines, I think.
feeling better than your best day living. But wait, it gets better. All kindred, that's our word for vampire. All kindred have a few things in common. Things that set them right square above humans on the food chain. Like sharper senses, a body that can take a beating, and if you play your cards right, eternal life. That's a new sure bet, but still, a chance at immortality's not a bad deal. And that's just for starters. Fringe benefits for joining the club. Well, you can still be destroyed, but forget the books and the movies. Garlic, it's worthless. A cross, shove it right up their ass. A steak, only if it catches you in the heart, and then it just paralyzes you. Running water, that's no problem. I bathe. Occasionally. Now, a shotgun blast to the head. Oh, that's trouble, boy. Fire, that's real trouble. Sunlight, well, you catch a sunrise and it's all over, kiddo. Get it?
So our weakness is fire, sunlight, and I think he goes on to say
Okay, now.
guns, basically, are another one. They're a pain in the ass. And he's not joking about shotguns when he comes up to that.
You get inside here, head upstairs. Meet up.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I thought a cutscene was playing out. Fuck me. Not that it matters anyway, because this door takes forever to load up so I can open it. So. Now, I think there was a lockpick around here. Doesn't matter. We'll go up here. The jump doesn't feel quite right in my opinion. I think it's because it's in first person or because I've got a really shaky mouse hand. Okay, so pick up the item, lockpick. Save the game. Save it afterwards so we don't have to watch this cutscene again because I can't skip them.
From the windows. Oh, it's a Sabbat raid. Sabbat. They're, Christ, I was hoping to spare you this shit until later. Sabbat. Well, they're mostly mindless, bloodthirsty assholes. That's all you need to know for now, alright?
So, like me?
The Sabbat got wind of the gathering here, so they figured they'd raise a little hell.
I think the Brouhaha actually do consist, so that the Sabbat do consist of Brouhaha and Gangrel, but unless the Sabbat actually have their own sire, they are one of the vampire clans. I'm not entirely sure yet.
Political rundown. Job one, get out of here alive. Sabbat might be mindless, but they hit like a Mack truck, like raging savages. Nothing a fledgling like you wants to mess with.
You called the fledgling the entire playthrough,
Heads up. Back away.
even though your power does increase quite dramatically, or can later on. I don't think lore-wise, but you know, sorry, the animations or lack thereof, but through the experience points, you become a lot more powerful.
frenzied Sabbat bastards. Alright, we gotta vamoose out the back quick. I'll stay and keep a watch out. You get us into the office. The door's around the corner here.
Okay. So the lock picking in this is pretty simple. Just press E and hope to God that the bar fills up and it's a success. And if it isn't, use... Oh, I do have blood heal. Excellent. Just use blood buff. This presence here in the bottom right corner. And I can increase my stats to do that. I've also got other presences here. I've got presence, potence, and celerity. So I might need blood buff in a minute. So just save again. That's going to get really annoying. I mean, it's even worse without a patch because it delays the game, like it freezes for like 3 seconds.
Cool. Now, if you want a lesson on how really
as opposed to here where it's really quick.
You're a big bad vampire. Yeah, great, congrats. Now keep it to yourself. You go roar and you beat your chest, and that's what you can expect.
That's a bit shit, really, because that's kind of the character I want to play in a way. But still, I want to play them all. That's the problem with me. There's so many things I like.
Why the wolf doesn't want the sheep to know he's there. It's also why you don't go juggling dumpsters or outrun the 815 from Sacramento. And it's why you didn't know any of this when you woke up this morning. Keep our secret secret and you make things easier on all of us. We're living in the age of cell phone cameras. Fuck-ups ain't tolerated. Makes sense enough, right? Well, it ain't a casual thing for a fledgling like you. That party back there with the guy in the suit and the Magilla gorilla, the assholes that put your sire to death, that's the Camarilla. They make a tidy business out of enforcing vampire laws like this one.
I'm gonna go for 2. My character's a bit naive.
I'll tell you what I think some other time, maybe. I like to let people form their own opinions.
I've got to give that to him.
Alright, now don't worry.
Because there's sort of 2 sides in the game. The Anarchs and the Camarilla. Anarchy and Order. And you can choose which one you're going to go for. Unfortunately, the game, right from the beginning, kind of just immediately reveals, or not reveals, but basically condemns the factions to, this faction is the good faction, this one's the bad faction. Not that you need me to tell you this, you can see for yourselves.
Do what you gotta do.
Or you will see for yourselves, rather.
Property, breaking and entering. These will be the least of your sins before the night's out. So look around here. We gotta get out the back there through that magnetically sealed door. There must be a key someplace.
I mean, I don't think it really matters like what your ideology is, because I'm the kind of person who would want the Masquerade to be maintained, so I naturally want to go with the Clan of Order, but it doesn't matter what I think. Oh, sorry, yeah. I thought it was case sensitive then. You know, it's either good or bad, and that's the end of it. So we're going to unlock the safe that's right next to us. Now, if I were a gentleman thief, I would shut the door of the safe. Or not the safe, but the... Oh, well, actually, yes, I would. I'd go back on the computer, type in safe, press enter, lock the doors, quit. Do it all formal-like. But here, no, I'm going to let them know that their safe was raided. Because that's my character. They're a Brouhaha. They have no concept of subtlety. Well, or maybe they're just forgetful. I don't know. I think that was overkill. So this is important. So the blue bar on the left is the health bar, but when it turns yellow, that's like damage over time, which is really shit to heal. So you can feed and you'll heal that up, but it's still slower than if you didn't have sustained damage.
Fucking waste of unlife, these Sabbat vatos. You get winged? Hey, look at them potholes. Those walls will close up soon enough. Better feed, though.
There's someone down the stairs here. It's not the freshest catch, but he'll do.
Now, when it comes to feeding, it's quality blood you're looking for, not the quantity. Bums and lowlife don't pack the same punch that a healthy, well-bred human will. Juice bags with a pedigree. That's the good stuff. But you gotta take what you can get. You ever had a PhD, kid? Ooh, that's good stuff.
They said that's the good stuff twice in the same
Remember what I said,
paragraph.
don't kill them, at least not the innocent.
Oh, I'm going to be a grammar Nazi all the time, and I can't even speak
No mistake.
coherently.
Damn,
So,
you need to hold on.
I suppose I'll get flack for that as well. I mean, the game really does have a lot of spelling mistakes, especially towards the end. It's really rife with that. And I suppose I can understand, because the game didn't really have much time to be made, from what I understand. Like, this was supposed to be released around the same time as Half-Life 2 to show off the new Source engine, but Activision, in typical Activision tradition or fashion, hadn't really done that. Okay.
The beast, it's always there.
That's my understanding of it anyway.
When it does, it's like a wild animal wearing your skin. Desperate, scared, reckless. He'll do anything to survive, and it's you that has to deal with the consequences.
So the beast is the thing that lives inside all vampires. It's the frenzy, basically. So when you frenzy, you let the beast out. And the longer you live, the harder it is to resist. Because right now, I'm a new vampire. I find it easy to do that. But a lot of vampires just give up and frenzy. And let the beast consume them. The beast has been around since the days of Cain.
I said innocent humans. If some asshole levels a 12 gauge your way, you drain him, skin him, and bash in his skull. Self-preservation is a vital part of humanity, after all. My favorite part, in fact. The only way to fight the beast is to keep in touch with your humanity and don't go hungry. It's a fine line. All right, now go feed. Careful, though. He's gonna drain fast.
Just want a quick reminder. Oh, -2 on all frenzy checks. Shit. Okay. Oh, and I've got 4 experience. Oh, no, I ain't. Sorry. I was under the impression I just have 4 experience points then. Right. So, we're going to go bite a bomb. How nice. Unfortunately, this is a different kind of eating arse, but never mind. So when you bite someone, when you feed on someone, however much blood you take, they always go into this sort of trance, unless you're in combat with them. So if it's a security guard, a police officer, or another vampire, they won't do this. Also as well, while that person's in that kind of state, they can't detect you if you're a Nosferatu, I believe. So it's quite a bit of stealth as well.
You can do worse. There's some rats down the way. You think I'm kidding? You can survive feeding on animals if you can stomach that kind of thing. Well, give it a try.
So, yeah. So I don't know what happens when humans see you feeding on rats. I think it is a Masquerade violation, so I try not to do it that way. In Vampire the Masquerade Redemption, the game before this, at least I'm pretty sure it was before this, I would hope so, given how clunky it is, you would actually pick up rats and store them in your inventory and use them at a later point, like a health potion. Or a blood potion, rather. Or blood bag in the case of this game. Yeah, I've only played a bit of it, though. I got up to the Golem and decided, fuck this, I'm not playing any further. Because the combat was so goddamn clunky.
You rat sucker. Hey, I don't care what you do, but just so you know, polite vampire society looks down on that kind of thing.
Yeah, if the Ventru feed on rats and the homeless, they have a chance of vomiting up blood. And, well, they can't even benefit from feeding animals, so yeah.
Keep it down. Got someone around the way here. Not too much of a threat by himself, but you never know if there's more in shouting range. You're gonna have to sneak past. The building across from us with the garage door, there's some double doors on the far side. I'll meet you inside. Just stay low and stick to the shadows, and don't let him see you. Alright, go.
Sneaking, combination of dexterity and stealth, is a favor. Don't know why I'm explaining all this. It's fairly obvious what sneaking is. So basically, we want that green 0 to sort of remain as green as it can. I don't want it to go up any further than yellow, if I'm honest. Shit. So orange means they might be able to see me. Shit, I think he's turning my way. I'm gonna risk it for a biscuit. There we go.
Keep it quiet. They're inside here. Seems that shovelhead outside just got separated from his pack. He's wounded too. Go take care of him. Don't worry. He's probably greener than you. The Savant, you see, they don't have the most rigorous training program. In fact, that poor sod is lucky if he knows he's a vampire. He's probably just turned and beaten over the head. They like to do that. Make shock troops, cannon fodder, put him out of his misery.
I think that was the only person who I'd ever heard say sod who wasn't British and say it really well. Because I can't stand it when other people try to say sod, or bloody was another one as well. Anyway.
He is a vampire, so
I mean, a lot of people don't like my accent anyway, so, well, that's fine. So the feeling's mutual. I was born ready. Yep, that's fine. Okay. Unarmed skill. This is going to be fantastic. Right, save the game just in case I do get my ass kicked. And let's go punch a motherfucker. Oh, hang on. Potence, that's more like it. Oh, nice. I took a little bit of damage. That was awesome. Got a tire iron that I don't need, but I can sell it later on. Okay.
that's that. Sounds like we got another pack. The Savant are going all out. Better head underground, avoid stray bullets. Alright, head down into the basement through the grate in there. Keep that tire iron handy. I'll be there in a minute.
Okay, this is where things are going to get, well, I was about to say boring, but it's not like... They're already really interesting. Interesting. I didn't really... Oh, I see. So, from what I understand, the patch has added the first one, but I'm not entirely sure. This indicates a presence response. So these are the different dialogue options. So I want to be going for the blue and pink ones mostly. But if I can use a presence response, that'd be great as well.
You! Just stay back. Keep your distance. Now, who the hell are you? You involved in all this? Because I'm gonna radio this in, and SWAT will be all over this place.
He sounds like Hank Hill. Damn it, Brujah! That was terrible. I apologise. And I want to get into voice acting as well. Okay, so with me, yes, I do have a chance. So.
No. Well, I left my radio in a Caprice anyway.
Actually, I think this... I tell you what, I think this person was actually added with the pre-patch, so you know what? If this is, part of the unofficial patch, fine, good on you.
Yeah, okay. Alright, this way. This will lead us up to the warehouse. We can maybe sneak out that way.
No, I'm not going to use him like that. I will maybe have a drop of blood, though. You don't have to go all the way down like that, but I like to make sure they're drained good and proper. Okay, so in the unofficial patch, I have to equip my fists, where before I couldn't. Very nice stealth kill.
Not sure what's going on. Sounds like the Sabat's getting scattered. I'm gonna keep an ear to the ground. Be careful going forward here. Could be a whole mess of them holed up.
Oh, okay, right. So blood buff. I'm really only going to be using this in combat and in lockpicking areas. Blood buff, so yeah. So this lock might be a bit too tough for me. No, it wasn't. Right, so we didn't need to use blood buff. Excellent. So I don't know about unique disciplines, because these ones can be used by others, like Presence and Celerity can be used by Toreados, Potence can be used by the Nosferatu, probably by the Gangrel as well. Colossal Vampiric Strength, I like that. Supernatural Speed, I would like that if I could notice it, but I very rarely do. And the Mystical Projection of Personality, Inspiring Fear and Awe. So, let's not use Potence this time. Let's use Presence. Punch a motherfucker. So, okay, so much for the Colossal Strength then. I'm only doing like 1 extra point of damage. Gee whiz. Talk to me.
I think they're clearing out. There's no need to go stirring up the hornet's nest till we know the score, though. Head through here. Come to an elevator around the way. Meet you there. Don't let them catch you.
Okay. Oh shit, I can't remember if it said if it was a Masquerade violation or not. I don't think it was, because it's not something that people can really see. Shit. Oh. So by holding down the different directions, like WASD or the arrow keys, you can, as you hold those down and then press the attack button, you get additional combos and moves and things like that. From what I've seen, anyway. I act as though this is unique to this game. It's obviously quite common in fighting games. Okay. So he's distracted. I'm not very good with distraction, I must admit, so I'll probably stick to using my sneak skill.
Fucking humans. Gangbangers protecting their turf. Oh, man. I'm here thinking it's Sabat moving up in here. It's the fucking locals about to take one for the hood.
They probably seen too much.
Here, take this 38. Fucking pea shooter, but a few shots in it will take down a human.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna want it back, so don't go die and lose it. I don't use guns much. They're noisy, they're clumsy, practically useless against vampires, but still, a kindred's gotta keep up with the times. And in modern day Los Angeles, that means coming strapped. Well, yeah, some are more lethal than others.
I would love to be an older generation vampire to see how long I could hold on to a blunderbuss or like a musket or something, or a little flintlock pistol.
Can't have them running their mouths about any of this. I'm gonna make sure there's no stragglers around.
If you live that long, though, you'd probably want to learn how to make your own ammunition and things like that. You'd probably want to learn to do a lot of things, I suppose. We'll give it a 38 revolver. Now, the name has been changed, I think, for this patch. Because I think it's... Let's have a look what it's called here. The Colt Police Special... Positive Special. So, it used to be called like the 38, I think, just plain and simple. But now it's been given a different name. Not that it's important or anything. I don't need to do this to pass, but I think you begin to see the problems with firearms. Why I don't like them. Yeah. Tell you what, for the fun of it, I'll use them on the humans up there, but I am going to want my unarmed skill back. So yeah, and we may use a shotgun later. The Uzi is practically pointless in this game. I didn't like the crossbow when it was there. Okay, so B is basement, I'm guessing, so we're there already. Well, that wasn't too bad. Potence. Oh, I like that. What I love about this most as well is the crunch of bone. Just heard it there. It's beautiful. I very rarely play games with the sound on or headphones plugged in, but I could make an exception for this because the voice actors, the dialogue's very nice. The combat sounds are beautiful as well.
Until the next night when the Camarilla finds some way to strike back. Parry, dodge, spin and all that, and so on and so on and so on. Well, to be honest, it came at an interesting time, let's say. The Camarilla, the Sabat. Now, in LA, these are the new kids on the block. There's already plenty of kindred had stakes down in California long before them. Now, we got every ancient kindred rivalry playing out all over the city. A lot of tension out there. A lot of fear. A lot of jittery, high-strung predators clinging to their little pieces of eternity.
I regret to inform you that all of this is really just boiled down to two factions, the Anarchs and the Camarilla. So all these different clans and all their rivalries take a backseat, essentially. It's a shame, because if there were an expansion pack or sequel or DLC for this game, I'd pick it up in a heartbeat to see all of those things. I'd love to see how the different clans react to you as a player, or your quest givers and things like that.
Oh, boy. I think they're looking for you outside. Guess you got a cab to catch. Was hoping to fill you in on a little bit more, but hell, you'll figure it all out.
So, if I press 2, that means that I am 100% likely to complete it. So it will only give you the option if you are 100% successful.
If you make it back, stop in at the last round. It's this bar downtown here. I'll fill you in on the politics. Now that's the stuff that'll kill you. Good luck.
And that's it for the tutorial. So, oh nice, I got 2 experience points. Oh goody. So after this we're going to continue and we'll see where it takes us next. Going to just have a quick look around. So this is our new pad. Get myself 2 blood packs. These are used to restore blood points and they can also give you a little bit of healing. So look around. Pill bottle. Estrogen. Caution, do not take if male. Okay, so we can sell those. Basically a lot of the items you get are basically there to be sold only. Actually, I'm playing a lass, so can I? No, I can't use it. Doesn't do anything for me. Oh well. But I think with the plus patch, you can use some of those items for quests and whatnot, so it's good. I've got $100 in cash now, so I've now got $100 total. Password for your computer is Sunrise. Our contact is Mercurio. We're going to be talking to him in the next part as well. Shit. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the controls again. And this is M. Strauss, the Tremere Regent. Not reagent. He's not part of Crafting John. Check our emails as well. I love the text interface of it. Why did I attempt hacking? I know the password. For fuck's sake. Right. I almost did it again in Sunrise. Right, 1. Okay, who's going to contact us? I've got a pen. Anyway, Kilpatrick's Crime Pewter, so we're going to be using that. That's basically just a database of people who live in Santa Monica, the place we've just arrived at now, and we've got a couple of things for LaCroix and the Camarilla while we're here. That's a great thing to send in an email, isn't it? Yeah, I'm just off out to pick up some astrolite, yeah. I'll give you my address as well, so then the SWAT teams know where to come. That's fantastic. The game begins, a pawn is moved. Now, I never found out who sends these emails. I'm hoping that I will. I wonder, though, if it's a man named Beckett. So we shall see. So this is my grotty little apartment, which doesn't look much worse than my own bedroom. It's got an oven next to it, which is better than what I've got. It's got pizza. If it was garlic bread or garlic pizza, that'd have been fantastic. Good job that garlic's useless against me as a vampire, so that's quite nice. Cupboards with probably only slightly less build quality than anything I would do. I can't move these floorboards, even though it looks as though there's a hole in my floor. Nope, I don't think there is. I think it's just boards. Could no one be asked to move them? I don't know what they're there for anyway. I mean, obviously the window's there, but why not just have curtains? It would take more effort to nail those up, wouldn't it, surely? I'm sorry, I'm blathering. So we've got to go out now. Also the TV as well can give you info on the quests you've done and the quests you've got, and it can update your quest log and stuff like that. So this one's a bit relevant to one of the main quests here. Does it say the name of the ship yet? I think it's the Elizabeth Dane, so it's that's a ship that will be going on later. So thank you ever so much for watching. I'm going to work on part 2 now. Move about a bit, get the old blood circulation going. And I'd like to thank you all for watching. Have a pleasant time, and I hope you enjoyed the first part. And I will probably be uploading this sometime throughout the week, which is irrelevant to you now because I don't know when I'm recording this. So I'm recording this on the 29th of November, so God knows when it'll be uploaded later on, so it doesn't really matter. So thank you ever so much for watching, and you guys take care. Ta-ta for now.